Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first webinar of the Innovation and Digital Transformation Research Group at VNU International School. I'm Pham-Duc and I will be the moderator today. And we are honored to have Professor Maiga Chang, a distinguished advisor of our research group, and as your speaker today. Professor Chang is a full professor and associate dean of research and innovation at the Faculty of Science and Technology at Athabasca University, Canada. And he is an IEEE senior member and currently serves as an IEEE Computer Society distinguished visitor. His extensive research in artificial intelligence, particularly in educational technology, has led to over 260 publications and numerous international recognition, including the Distinguished Researcher Award by the Asia Pacific Society on Computers in Education. We are particularly excited to have Professor Chang share his expertise today, as his role as our advisor has been instrumental in shaping our research direction in AI and educational technology. Today's topic on authorship forensics is especially relevant as we navigate the challenge and opportunities presented by AI in education. Professor Chang will share insights on difference between human and AI generated content using advanced techniques in natural language processing and neural networks. Without further delay, I'll hand over to Professor Chang. Professor Chang, the virtual floor is yours, please.
Thank you so much for the great introduction. You almost already talk everything I put on my first slide. So thank you. Thanks for Professor Pham-Duc's invitation. I'm very honored to have this opportunity to share one of our research group's research outcome, the authorship of forensics, to all of you. My name is Maiga, and I'm working in Athabasca University. Right now, I'm Associate Dean of Research and Innovation, and I also be honored to be appointed as IEEE Computer Society's distinguished visitor on AI and chatbot. So I hope today I can bring you something, and perhaps later we can work together on some of the research we have. So first of all, very important thing is right now we are in what we call the era of generative AI. So when we are in this era from 2021 until now, there are several challenges and things we are focusing on. So we can really use generative AI properly. Of course, if you are just a student or if you are just an employee or a designer, you can use generative AI to help you to do something which you want to do. For example, I can ask a generative AI to help me to create a very good background picture for my PowerPoint slides. So in that case, generative AI can help me to do this without any problem. However, the most important thing is what will happen if we consider that in education. So so people they will consider, first of all, students or users, they may rely on generative AI too much. So basically, just like we always use Google to do the search. So you rely on Google to help you to do the search. But good thing is when you see the search result, you still read them. But when you are using generative AI, you don't need to read them one by one. You can have generative AI to provide you a summary for you, so you don't need to spend a lot of time to read A, read B, read C, and then synthesize everything and then become your knowledge. So the second thing is, if you have a question for your course and ask your students to answer the question, in the past, students, they may think of the question a little bit and then come out the answer. However, with generative AI, students, they may simply ask ChatGPT, what is something? And then they copy and paste the result to you. So in that case, they are not apply anything they have learned to solve a problem or work on a question that you give it to them. Even remember, even they really know how to do it. But see, simple solution is go to ChatGPT and type your question, or even copy and paste your exercise content, and then you got the answer. Why bother to test my memory? Why bother to apply what I learned? Even I'm really a good student. And on the other hand, the use of generative AI will also cause another thing. What that kind of things? For example, let's say in Canada, we have two official language. One is French, the other one is English. So most of people, they do have a little bit chance to touch French in elementary or primary school, but then they don't have chance unless you are living in Quebec, the province whose official language is French. Otherwise, for everyone else in other province, actually, we don't really speak French. So in that case, how about my French teacher asked us to write a very short 300-word essay about my Halloween experience. And then I actually asked generative AI to help me write my Halloween experience in French, and then submitted that 300 words to my teacher. While I am not so good in French, but ChatGPT or generative AI, they can write a very good 300 words in French for me. And in that case, actually, you are giving your teacher that a work which has higher quality than what you are capable to do. So basically, you can either consider you take advantage on generative AI, so you give a false impression to your teacher, or you can consider that is a kind of cheating. And don't be surprised, even when we don't have generative AI, people, they will still hire other people to help them to do their homework. So generative AI is a more cheaper and affordable solution to help us to do a homework. Because if you want to hire someone to help you to write let's say 1,000 words essay, you may need to pay like $80 or $100 Canadian dollars to do that. But with ChatGPT, you only need to pay, let's say, a monthly subscription fee, $20 US, and then you can do whatever you want. So think about this. Now, the most concern we have, actually teacher they have, is they cannot differentiate. They cannot differentiate when they receive the homework or assignments submitted by their students, whether or not those works done by the student themselves or done by ChatGPT or generative AI. So that comes to our question. Can we really differentiate an AI written test? That is the first reason why we want to do this research. So what we should do? Let's take a look at people. Actually, you can see people in 2023, they really did this. They create a so-called HC3 English data set, which combined both of human answers and ChatGPT's answers for the questions. And in that case, that data set actually has 24,000 questions and 85,000 response. So what they did? They're trying to have 70 volunteers, and 8 of them, they are ChatGPT frequent user, and 9 of them, they don't use ChatGPT. And then they give these 17 volunteers a pair of question and response and ask them to identify whether or not this result or this response is written by human or by ChatGPT. And what they get is 63% accuracy. So which means a little bit higher than guess, rolling a dice. But if you are a ChatGPT frequent user, actually you have 81% accuracy, which means you have some kind of idea about this piece of work is done by ChatGPT, not by human. 80% is not bad, but maybe still not so good. On the other hand, there is another research group in 2023. They also do the same thing. They're trying to have high impact journals paper abstract, which is 50 per 50. And then they ask ChatGPT to write an abstract based on the paper title and the journal name. That is another 50 abstract. So which means we have 50 written by human, 50 written by ChatGPT. And they give a human reviewer 25 abstract and ask them to review and guess. So you can see the result is still 80% something. Okay, so precision, what is precision? I will explain that a little bit later. So what is precision? You can consider right now if I give you a piece of work. If I give you a piece of work that's written by GPT, and you say, this piece of work is written by ChatGPT, then that is a true false, true positive. On the other hand, if I give you a piece of work that's written by human, but you say, oh, that is done by ChatGPT, that is false positive. Very similar to your COVID test. You get the COVID, and your COVID test say you got the COVID. That is a true positive. You don't have a COVID, but your COVID test tell you you got the COVID. You need to self-isolate. You need to be quarantined. That is false positive. So consider that is a true positive, false positive. On the other hand, if you have a work done by ChatGPT, but the computer says, no, this is written by human, then that is a false negative. If something is written by human and your assistant say this is done by human, that is a true negative, which is correct answer. So you can consider that we have this 4 cell. I would like to ask you, which, if you can choose 2, which 2 you will see that is the most important for you? Are you thinking true positive and false positive is very important? Or are you thinking true positive and false negative is important? So you can think about that. There is no correct answer. It is really depending on how you want your system to do. So for us, we consider true positive and false positive is more important. Why? Because we hope we can have 0 here. Can we have 0 false positive? And all others, they are true positive. Which means we will not accuse someone. For example, I will not say, oh, Dr. Pham-Duc, you are using ChatGPT to create your paper. We will not do that because that is false positive. He wrote a paper by himself. And if you say his work is a ChatGPT's work, then that is false positive. You are false accuse someone who don't have do anything wrong, but you say you are wrong. So that is why we choose precision is very important for us. We hope everything we say true positive, they are good. And we hope we will have 0 false positive. On the other hand, consider this. If we don't have false negative, which means when people, they are written in ChatGPT, their work is written by ChatGPT, and we will not misjudge their work is done by human, then we will not make those students, cheating and successful, right? So some people, they may think false negative 0 will be more important. But from our point of view, we consider ethical is more important. Because yes, if false negative is 0, false positive is 10, which means you are miss or you are false accuse 10 students their job, while you don't get anyone cheating successfully. That is good, but you also wrong accuse some people, right? So that is why we consider we are okay to let some people go, even they are cheating with ChatGPT, but we let them go. But when we are saying this work is done by ChatGPT, it will definitely belong to true positive. So that is why we choose precision rather than recall. This is recall. You probably will ask, so in what situation you will need a recall? Simple. Let's take a look at the lottery number recommendation system. So if I recommend you saying 3, 15, 16, 25, and 40, they will be the lottery winning number this time. You do hope that we will not give you a false negative, right? All the numbers, they are true positive, and no any number belonging to the false negative, which means when I say it is winning, but actually it is not winning. So different kind of recommendation system or computational learning, you will consider either recall is more important or precision is more important for you. Fortunately, we have another major called F major, which is combine both recall and precision together, consider them a little bit. So if we say F1 value, then that is half and half. So you consider precision and recall, they are equally important. If you say F0.5, then you will consider precision is a little bit more important than recall. If you say F2, that means you consider recall is more important than precision, but you still consider both of them rather than just one of them. Unfortunately, not all the research published will let you know all the numbers. They always try to find the best number for themselves to explain their research. So sometimes you cannot really know all the numbers. Okay, now we have an old saying. The old saying says, whoever hung the bell on a tiger's neck must untie it. Who hung the bell on the tiger's neck, who is needed to untie it. So consider generative AI is created by whom? OpenAI. So actually, OpenAI do have a new AI classifier for indicating an AI written test. So you can see they say we launch a classifier trained to distinguish between AI written and human written test. Good. Let's take a look. It says our classifier is not fully reliable. Okay, this is what they say first. And then they say, okay, our classifier correctly identified 26% of AI written tests true positive. So if you have 100 AI written tests, there will be only 26% will be named. And they say we incorrectly labeling human written text as AI written text 9%. That is false positive. So good things for them is they provide you true positive and false positive, which means you can calculate their precision. And you can see that they published this AI written classifier on January 31st, 2023, after a whole 1 year and 2 months later, they announced this. 3 months later, they announced this, trying to identify AI written text. Unfortunately, they also tell you that as of July 20, 2023, the AI classifier is no longer available due to its low rate of accuracy. Why? Because it is really low rate, because you can count based on true positive and false positive, you can count their precision. So their precision actually is 0.74 only. So you can consider even worse than human beings who are ChatGPT user, frequently user. They can do 81%, but here we can only do 74%. So how about others? Actually, if you take a look at the history, before GPT-3, there is GPT-2. So you can see 2019, they already used GPT-2 trying to see if they can use logistic, which is a statistical methodology. They can actually reach 93% of accuracy rate. But what they are doing is 40 words. On the other hand, another fine-tuning Roberta classifier actually proposed by Facebook. So you just need to remember Roberta. This is coming from Facebook. And by the way, BERT is coming from Google. So Facebook's AI research team, they are trying to create a Roberta classifier, which is better, they say, better than BERT. That is close to 95% accuracy rate. And of course, there is other group of researchers they can get, for example, 81% on raw test, 87% on sentence level. Okay. Don't you think this is a little bit strange? It's higher accuracy at the sentence level, but it is lower accuracy in the main test. Actually, don't be surprised. Actually, this is coming almost everywhere. So sentence level, because the sentence is smaller, so it will be easier to get a higher accuracy, just like 93% here and there. But you also need to know that when you have a main test, which is composed of 100 sentences or 50 sentences, while your sentence accuracy rate is 87% or even 98%, but maybe the 98% is focusing on the other 2 paragraphs or the other 2 tests, not for this test. So at the end, the main test, main document, you have, let's say you have 100 main document. In total, you have 1,000 sentences. So your 1,000 sentences, they are 98% correct. But due to they distribute to different documents, at the end, the 100 document, you only got 88% accuracy rate. So that is a problem. Why? Because when your students submit their paper or submit their assignment, there will be a document, not a sentence. So no matter how sentence level is high, the point is whether or not you can accurate finding they are written by GPT. Okay, in 2023, there is another group of the researchers. Actually, they have 64 articles, abstract, published from Science. And then they use the ChatGPT 3.5 to generate another 128 arbitrary. Then they hire someone to read those 192 arbitrary. And the guy or the lady actually know this 64 article arbitrary coming from real user, this 128 article arbitrary coming from GPT. And then he or she trying to find 20 features. And once the human finding 20 features, then this group of researchers, they train the neural network, to train the model to recognize these 20 features. At the end, they can get a 99% accuracy. Is that good? Yes, that is so good. So newspaper, all the newspapers, they publish this. They say, now we have a 99% accuracy rate AI written detector. Okay. You guys may be the future researcher. When you see this, will you dancing with the newspaper? If not, what kind of things you see here? I hope that at least you see one thing, which is this 20 feature. So you need to ask yourself, will this 20 feature be able to use in another data set? The second question you need to ask yourself is, how long, if you are the human, you read this 192 arbitrary, how much time you need to use, and how much time you need to find out this 20 feature? 1 hour, 2 hours, or 1 day, or 2 weeks? So you need to ask yourself. So unfortunately, the next research I want to introduce you actually no any newspaper report. The next research is coming from the same research team. They actually did consider that. So this time they say we choose 100 papers arbitrary from 10 chemical journals. Remember, earlier they got the arbitrary from Science journal. And the chemical is a kind of science, but they are still different. This time they get 100 chosen papers arbitrary from 10 chemical. And then they use the same 20 feature without human to reread everything. And you can see this is their outcome. 89%. See? That is the problem. But no one bothered to read this article. This article actually published, I think, about 2 to 3 months later after their first article. But no one pay attention on this one. This one tell you cannot use the same 20 features. Okay, so that is something. Can we do better? Can we do better? So this is our research group we are trying to do. So our solution, actually, we consider, can we use statistical natural language processing plus convolutional neural network. So natural language processing means what you are hearing, what I'm talking is in natural language processing. Any English, Vietnamese, French, German, any kind of language, they are natural language processing. Even bird singing, they are natural language processing. Statistical means we're trying to count how many times you like to use. For example, some people, they like to use well, or some people, they like to use, you know that, yes. So see, that is statistics. So can we use statistics to help us to train a neural networks that can identify the habit of writing by the computer? So you can, before we are talking about that, you need to understand the n-gram n gram can be 1 gram, 2 gram, 3 gram, 4 gram, depending on the n value. So 1 gram is a word, or called unigram, and 2 gram, bigram is like a learning outcome. Learning outcome is a bigram. Trigram, 3 gram is computers in education. And each of the word, no matter what language you are using, they do have some kind of form. So either verb or noun or the adjective and everything like that. So consider we have in our natural language, we have 36 part of speech tag, like a verb, noun, in 1 unigram level. So consider if we have 2 gram learning outcome, so what is the combination? Learning could be maybe an adjective. Outcome could be a noun. So you have an adjective noun. So the by combination will become 4 million when you have more and more words. So we do know that people, they will use some kind of a pet phrase. So for example, when they are doing speech, they will say, you know what I'm saying, right? Or they are talking to their employee, they say, you know what I'm saying, right? Something like that. So many people, they will use similar words again and again and again. I also have this kind of habit. My wife told me that when she listened to my talk, she said that I very usually I will use basically. So I will say basically speaking, oh, in basically, something like that. So when she told me that, then I try to avoid that kind of pet phrase. But you need to understand, people, they do have their pet space. Even when they are writer, they are authors, they are books writer, they will use very similar words again and again and again. So we are thinking we should consider words. Can we consider their part of a speech tag? For example, some people, they like to use a combination of nouns a lot. For example, noun, noun, noun. Or some people, they like to use adjective noun a lot. Or other things. We have a 36 part of speech tag at a 1 gram level, but in that case, at the 4 gram level, we have millions combination. So how about we visualize them? See, we get you several documents. The first document at the left-hand side, you can see they have very keen to use DT noun, which is determiner singular or massive noun. That means the car, the book, a cat. That is DT noun. And then the second most frequently usage is plural noun. So like a people, like a research, they are plural noun. They don't need to add s or something like that. And maybe noun and a kind of a conjunction. So for example, cloud in sky, cloud on sky, cloud in blue, or something like that. On the other hand, the right-hand side, that is another argument written by another people. Actually, the top 3 is totally different. You can see this guy or this lady is trying to use a lot of adjective, good, bad, blue. So, see, that is what our idea. We are considering if we can use statistical methodology to find the most important top 50 or top 15 combination, then actually we can get your fingerprint. So at the left-hand side and the right-hand side, you see the same document 0 and the document 28. And in the x-axis, you have the top 50 part of speech tag sorted in the same order. So you can see you are a human being, right? If you take a look at least two figure, 2 image, would you say they are same person or they are same writer? Probably not, right? Because you can see here is totally different from here. Totally different distribution and the shape from the other place. So that is our idea. If we can get your signature, then we can identify you. So I need to tell you that our optimal goal is trying to identify this article is written by Alex, this article is written by Maiga. So when Maiga or Alex help Maiga to do his homework, I can say, oh, Maiga, your homework is done by Alex, right? Not done by you. And also we can provide it to police officer. When you receive a life-threatening notes, I want to kill you because of something, and then police officer they can find the fingerprint from this wording and compare this fingerprint with other fingerprint they collect from Facebook, and they will say, "Oh my God, you are the killer. You are the bad guy." Because you publish this on Facebook and the signature is sent like this life-threatening notes. But of course, unfortunately, you need to be relieved. First of all, we cannot do that yet. So our best right now is just doing 3-class identification rather than all the people. So you don't need to worry about that. So if we consider this is your fingerprint, then we can consider to use a neural networks called CNN, Convolutional Neural Networks. It's very good in recognize fingerprint. So when you are passing the immigration system, or someone asks you to touch your finger on the fingerprint, or your iPhone, actually they are using CNN. Because CNN is very accurate for doing this kind of things. The detection rate can be like 99.77. So facial recognition, we can know who you are, or fingerprint, they are always use CNN. There is no other way to do this. So that is what we say. How about we use CNN? Because we already convert the natural language processing application to a graphics image recognition domain. So actually we can use CNN. So that is what we did. We can train a 2-class model that can identify whether or not this piece of work is done by human or ChatGPT by 56 seconds. So we can train the model in 56.82 seconds. And our accuracy rate, our precision will be 0.9682. And if we consider 3-class, that will spend more time. 3-class means human, ChatGPT 3.5, ChatGPT 4. We need to train in 7 minutes and 26 seconds. But our precision can reach to 98.9806 precision. That is 98.0.06%. And we don't need too many data. We only need to use 343 tests to do the training. Done. Okay, so we have tested this, and everything looks really good. Actually, you guys are the first-hand listener, because in ICC in Philippines, I will show you the system. But in any way, you can see the finding here. So in our research, we have everything. So you can see the precision, the recall, F0.5, F1 major, and you can compare against with other research. So the only thing we cannot beat is this 99%. But I need to remind you, this 99% is almost not repeatable, because it requires human being to do the feature selection. And also, we don't know whether or not actually, we do know the 20 feature cannot be used in chemical domain later when it's coming from science domain. So that is what we have, so this is what I just want you to know. Our proposed 3-stage authorship forensic doesn't require any human beings intervention. And you only need to provide a file that contains the test and author level and upload to authorship forensic portal. And half hours later, you can get your result. I said 7 minutes and 56 seconds earlier. That is based on laptop. When we are using cloud computing, cloud virtual machine, the time will be double because the cloud virtual machine actually is not so good like your laptop. So this is the authorship forensic portal. What you see right now is the earlier version 1. And right now we already have a version 1.1. So in ICC, I will show you version 1.1. But of course, you can go to our website, ngranpos.vipresearch.ca, and you can experience the new portal. So everyone can upload their data, and the data can be trained, and you can always view the data. You can always use the model to predict whether or not a piece of work is done by human. And when you click on view, actually we provide you not just your data uploaded, but also the models. So you can also download the model to use by yourself. But when you click on one of the model, the best things here is we are very open. We allow you to examine our result. So we provide you our test set, training set, time spent, result, and everything like that. So if you want to double check the time spent on this model, you can click on this result, and then you will be able to see training top 50 model requires 787 seconds. So that is about 10-15 minutes, as I said, in virtual machine. So you can also take a look at the result, top 50. So that is, we can provide you like the successful rate, precision, recall, and other things. Please do know that we actually, if you right now you go to online, you can see that we train 30 model. Why? Because when you upload your data, you can train as many children as you want. So we train 30 models to see if the 30 models they can get a consistent accuracy rate from time to time. You need to remember, when you have a batch of a book, for example, Harry Potter from 1 to 7, and you bring these 7 books to your 2 children and ask them read. After they read, you can ask them, what you learned? They will tell you totally different things, just like your student, right? You always use the same teaching material, but your students, their understanding are different. So that is why we trying to create a lot of model. So not just we can get an average score, but consider that if you have 10 model, can you ask this 10 model to form a judge panel? And when we have someone submit their assignment, we can bring this assignment to the 10 judges and ask them, what is your majority perception about this assignment? Maybe 7 of them vote saying this is done by ChatGPT, and 3 of them vote this is done by human. So in that case, you can decide whether or not you want to go with the majority of judges, or you want to have 100 judge opinion. So what is the next? The next thing is we want to use our data on existing AI content detector to see what is the difference between ours and theirs, whether or not ours are really better than theirs. And then we also want to use our model to test other researchers, their data set, to see if without further training, can we identify their ChatGPT abstract. We also right now is working on creating new data set with human authors. So if any one of you want, I can give you a link. If you can write something and you will be able to putting in the draw. So if we have 20 winners, each of the winner will get 25 Canadian dollars Amazon gift card. So if you would like to participate, let me know. I can give you the link. So you go there and write I think 200 words content based on what we ask you to write, and then you are entering the drawing, and your human writing result will become our testing purpose. So that is what we want to do, and of course we also want to see whether or not our training model can identify Gemini, Bing Chat, or Cloud, or other AI generative AI applications. So in any way, thank you so much for having me to share one of our research work on authorship forensic. Of course, we have other research there about training our own large language model for chatbot, or we have a 5-component chatbot library that allow people to create their chatbot very easily without using anything else. And we also have the ask for summary, which purely using ask for summary, natural language processing technique to do very similar thing like a ChatGPT. And we have other mobile apps. They are connected to all of our research outcome. So people, they can use a mobile app or browser to use our system. So thank you so much. And if you have any question, please let me know. I can answer here. And of course, you can also write me an email. I can also answer your question by email. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Maiga Chang. This is a very insightful research, and with result, with very good result, with like more than 90% of detective. And while we waiting for some questions, so as I can see that most of your I think all of the content that you train is abstract, right?
Yes,
so
correct.
the abstract writing is somehow is following the same structure. It's different. What is the difference with abstract checking and the content checking?
Actually, right now, almost all the research, they are using abstract because of trying to use the whole content for doing AI detection. As you remember earlier, you can see almost all the researchers, they have this so-called high accuracy for sentence level, but low accuracy for the full content. So that is probably one of the reasons that most of the research actually right now all the research, they are using abstract. And you can see from the beginning they use 40 words to later they use like 150 words. In our case, we use 250 words. So basically, in our research, we are using more lengthy content, as well as people, they are using like a 50, 190 abstract, and we are using 650 626 abstract in total. So in this field, when people, they are doing AI detection, AI writing detection, actually they are using abstract because they are smaller and but still longer than sentence, so they can get some idea about whether or not they are good enough. Just like you say, you can still consider to use the whole content. In our case, actually there will be probably no difference. because in our way, we are using part of speech tag distribution. So you are the author. When you are writing 200 words or when you are using 1,000 words, your habit is still same. You will still try to use a lot of adjective. You will still try to use a lot of noun and noun. You will still use a lot of different kind of part of speech tag combination. But in many of the research they are doing, they're trying to read the content. That is the problem. Because when you read the content in science, authors definitely will write differently in chemical because the keywords are different. The subject matter are different. So that is the problem when most of other research they are doing this. They are usually consider the content. And in fact, I need to let you know that GO, G-U-O, that research team, in fact, they also consider some kind of our methodology in their research. But then they say, in their paper, they say they don't think that will be enough. So they add a lot of things, including the frequency of this sentence and the other sentence. But in that case, at the end, they only got 88% accuracy. On the other hand, we are very simple. I need to confess, to be honestly, when we are doing this research, we are just doing this research for fun. So my students say, let's do this. I say, let's do this. And then I provide this kind of a very strange idea, fingerprint idea for him to implement. And then when he came back 1 month later, he said, oh, we got 92% accuracy. I say, wow, what happened? And then we doing some improvement, and then we got 98%. But at the very beginning, I just took this as a fun. And at the end, that's a confirm what we always say. Doing a research is not making a research complex. Sometimes the simplest and straightforward solution may be the correct one. But most of the researchers, they're trying to make their research looks like a book written by God you cannot understand, so they can have a contribution. But in our case, you can see, after my talk, you definitely already understand everything. You can do the same research or even implement everything by your own, because that is a simple, straightforward, and lead very good result. So come back to your question, abstract, yes, for others, there may be a problem, but for us, because even you will always write, let's say, motivation, objective, contribution, important finding, but you will still writing them in your own way, your habit. And that habit we consider is what kind of part of speech tag you will frequently use. So in our case, no matter 200 words, 300 words, or 1,000 words, your habit will be always there.
Yeah, thank you. As you know that there's many people that using generative AI to not like rely too much on generative AI, but using AI to like modify or standardize their writing. So so if we do this, it is like a barrier for those people. Is it?
You are right. You are right. Yeah, you are right. Our research doesn't consider that yet. You can say in the case you said, which means author is a human, but the human actually has a co-author. which is GPT or ChatGPT or generative AI, to help them to refine their wording. That's one actually we didn't consider. And unfortunately, you are right about that. I probably will say we may not be able to identify those kind of collaboration work. But I need to say collaboration is not bad. Actually, because you are still writing. What we want is to identify you didn't do any contribution, but you ask generative AI or ChatGPT to help you to do everything. So as long as you participate within the creation process, I personally speaking, for me, I think that is good because just like you work with your friend and you learn from your friend, that is good. But the best thing is sometimes you will say, you are my good friend. I don't know how to write this assignment. Please help me. And then I do nothing. I just take advantage because you are my friend and you are a good writer, so you write for me, and I didn't learn anything. So I think we probably should focusing on that part, and we should even consider, okay, this is just my perception and my opinion. I think we should encourage that kind of collaboration, because you will learn from each other. So you will learn why ChatGPT writing something like this way. So you will learn the writing rather than depending on it. So I probably would say we should encourage that happening, and we shouldn't say no, you cannot do this. Otherwise, they shouldn't use Google, right? Because they will try to Google something and copy paste, and they don't get anything. So personally speaking, you are right. Our system or our methodology may not be able to identify a collaboration situation due to you two have a different kind of habit and writing patterns, and you combine them together, which become a unique one. But of course, if you always working with ChatGPT, then perhaps we can find a pattern which belongs to when you have co-author like a ChatGPT. That could be done. But you are definitely right, and I probably will say we shouldn't ban them. We should actually try to encourage students to learn with the technology. So
Yeah. Well, there is Professor Hong, who is our college. He's now he's in India uh, he's a visiting professor to India. So he's in India
that's
now.
good. Wow.
Saying hi.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, thank you so much for giving me this chance to sharing our research with all of you.
Yeah. So so it was your for student and teacher, right? To encourage student to use Gen AI to help them to cooperate with them, co-author with them to work.
Yeah.
So what is your advice for teachers? So how we will deal with that? How we how we distinguish how we navigate student to make them like they do it properly?
Yeah, that is a really good question. Actually, I don't think I will have answer for you, but first of all, of course, I probably will suggest that teachers they can try to discover, investigate what kind of generative AI can help them in terms of teaching, as well as doing maybe self-assessment or helping them to reduce their workload. And in that case, um, they probably can be more embrace to the generative AI. Of course, they will always have some concern about whether or not their students, they always use ChatGPT or generative AI to do their homework. So yes, that is for sure. But in that case, I probably will suggest them to think about whether or not they can change their assessment methodology. So, the traditional assessment technology is trying to give students an exercise and let them do it and then submit their report. So in that case, of course, you cannot avoid them either to use Google or to copy and paste from Wikipedia, or trying to hire someone to be the ghostwriter, or use generative AI. So see, even if we don't have generative AI, the same assessment methodology already have the 3 very similar results, but why teachers, they don't bother? They should. So how about now it is a good time to rethink about, since our traditional assessment or activity, they may have encountered these 4 situations. Can we design a kind of other activities or assessment? So in that case, those 4 results, 4 conditions will never happen or can be reduced. So I think of one very old theory called flipped classroom theory. If some of you know, I know Professor Pham-Duc definitely know. Flipped classroom means that we will ask students to learning when they are not in class. But when they come back to class, we will ask them to do hands-on activity, to do the discussion, to do something. So basically, we put those boring things or self-learning things back to home. But when they come to class, we do something actively. In that case, your assessment will happening in class rather than at home. So they cannot hire a ghostwriter. They cannot Google and search, copy and paste the result. When they are coming to class, actually, they need to talk. They need to interact with you, with others, apply what they learn. They don't have a chance to ask ChatGPT how to answer this. So that is not a very old, but quite old, 10 years ago or even 15 years ago, the theory, but it can be applied, can be adopted to the class design. But in any way, I needed to remind all the teachers that the concern they have for ChatGPT or generative AI actually is already there, just happening in different form. So now it's easier than before. So it will be the time to thinking of the assessment. In my class, I don't have exam. Even my class, I don't have homework. I always ask students to discuss and doing presentation in front of me, in front of other students. So I don't care if they are using ChatGPT to create the transcript or to create some kind of talking point. As long as they can stand up and speak and explain the idea, which means they learn. So I don't worry about they use generative AI, because generative AI help them to learn rather than help them to cheat or help them to get a higher grade, while we don't know. So yeah, I think there is no correct answer for this, but I think maybe trying to change or design a new assessment methodology will be a kind of solution.
Yeah, that is very very interesting and helpful advice from Professor Maiga. So yeah, Thank you very much, Professor Chang, for more than 1 hour, insightful presentation and insightful advice. And your work provide valuable tools, valuable tools, new tools for education worldwide. And maybe it can be used for our conference.
Yeah. Yeah, our research, the most important thing for me is my research is always open and free. So I'm opening to everyone to use it. You don't need to pay anything. And that is my goal. I hope our research can really benefit everyone. So that is probably bad thing because many people they wanted me to open a company so we can make money, but unfortunately I like to share. So you can see all of my research is online. As long as I can afford, I will always put them online, and you can always use without paying anything. And even most of the research we have done, we don't need you to register an account. So because we are also very keen to protect the privacy. So in the most of the system, we don't need you to create an account. For authorship, we allow you to either create an account or not create an account. If you wanted to train your own model, you don't want to share with others, then you create an account. Because in that case, you can say this model is private, no one can see.